Have you ever noticed that many times things start going wrong after you share your plans? Before that, everything felt light, flowing. Then you talk about it, you share it, you get excited, and suddenly delays, conflicts, doubts, and even a strange discouragement appear. It seems like coincidence, but it's not. For many chosen ones, this is a clear spiritual pattern. When God's plans are exposed too early, protection decreases and emotional wear increases. And this goes against everything you were taught about sharing everything with everyone. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Not everyone who listens to you wants to see you move forward. Some want to give opinions, others want to compete, and some just want to watch. God doesn't reveal strategies to turn them into conversation topics. He reveals them to be fulfilled. When God's chosen ones learn to guard what they receive in silence, faith in God stops being noise and becomes results. And that's exactly what changes when you understand why silence is protection, not weakness. Before we continue, comment down below. Do you usually share your plans or keep them in silence? Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because this content is for those who want to grow protected, aligned with God, and reach their destination without sabotaging themselves along the way. There are moments when everything finally seems to fall into place. The mind becomes clear, motivation rises, and God's plans begin to make sense. The person feels that something good is being built, that God is opening doors. Then, almost without realizing it, they tell someone. They share excitedly, confidently, believing that sharing is celebrating. And curiously, after that, something gets stuck. Suddenly, strange delays appear, unnecessary conflicts arise, and a discouragement that didn't exist before sets in. People who once supported you begin to doubt, question, and plant subtle insecurities. It feels like the atmosphere changes, and it's not drama or paranoia. Many chosen ones, especially God's chosen ones, experience this when they decide to share too much of what is still in the process of being formed. Then comes the silent, almost painful realization. Not everyone who hears your plans truly wants to see you succeed. Some listen out of curiosity, others out of comparison, others out of insecurity. Faith in God may still remain, but it gets shaken when you don't understand why everything started falling apart right after you spoke too much. And this is no coincidence. There is something much deeper behind it. The problem was never dreaming big. Dreaming is actually part of God's plans, especially in the lives of the chosen ones. The mistake begins when excitement is confused with the need for validation. People don't share their plans because they need help, but because they want to hear it will work, in early applause, an external confirmation that they're on the right path, even when God has already confirmed it in silence. Many fall into this trap for a simple reason: seeking approval from those around them. Friends, family, co-workers, well-meaning people, but without the same vision. And here's a delicate truth. Proximity is not loyalty. Not everyone walking beside you understands the calling, and not everyone can handle seeing someone grow, level up, or break limits they themselves never broke. That's why, without realizing it, those without vision become obstacles. Not out of open malice, but out of fear, insecurity, and comparison. A careless comment, a planted doubt, a poorly timed honest opinion is enough to weaken the faith in God of someone still in the process. And this is exactly where it begins to make sense why silence is not weakness, but protection. Silence, contrary to what many think, is not the absence of action. For God's chosen ones, it works like an invisible shield. When a person learns to remain silent, they preserve energy, avoid unnecessary interference, and block emotional attacks they often don't even realize the source of. This is not exaggerated mysticism, it's practical wisdom aligned with God's plans. There is a spiritual pattern that repeats itself. God almost always works in the invisible before revealing things in the visible. Before exaltation comes withdrawal, before conquest comes preparation. While many talk too much about what they haven't built yet, the chosen ones learn to work in silence, strengthening their faith in God away from opinions that only delay the process. It's in this silent interval that things start aligning in unexpected ways. Doors open without announcements, solutions appear without excessive effort, and the person realizes that while they were silent, God was working. But this principle doesn't come out of nowhere. It connects directly to a phase almost every chosen one goes through, even without understanding it at first. Isolation. Isolation is usually scary at first. The person looks around and feels that something has changed. Fewer invitations, fewer messages, less noise. But for God's chosen ones, this is not punishment, it's preparation. God removes distractions to bring purpose closer. It's in this silent space that the mind clears, and God's plans begin to organize themselves more clearly. Away from applause and outside opinions, the chosen ones mature. Emotional strength, discipline, and real confidence are built in anonymity. Those who talk too much expose themselves too early. Those who work in silence grow internally. Faith in God is strengthened precisely when there is no audience, when no one is validating, only observing from a distance. And there's an inevitable contrast. While some need to announce every step, others prefer to surprise with results. When no one is watching, that's when the greatest growth happens. But this strategic silence also requires discernment, especially about who should and who should not have access to your plans. The 3 types of people who should not hear your plans. The first type is the insecure. They listen, nod, say, "Take it easy," but deep down, they project their own fears. When you talk about God's plans, they interpret them through their limitations, not your potential. For the chosen ones, this kind of conversation drains energy and weakens faith in God without them even realizing it. The second type is the envious, the most dangerous because they disguise themselves as supporters. They applaud in front of you, but compete in silence. They observe every step, every advance, every detail. They don't want to learn, they want to measure. Information in the wrong hands becomes sabotage, and God doesn't reveal strategies to those who can't protect what they hear. The third type is the curious. They don't help, they don't directly harm, but they consume your vision as entertainment. They ask just to ask, disappear when you need them, and reappear when things start going right. God's chosen ones learn over time that not every interest is support, and discerning this changes everything. Learning to remain silent doesn't mean living isolated from the world. God's chosen ones understand that spiritual maturity is knowing when to speak and who to speak to. Silence is not the absence of connection, it's selection. God doesn't ask you to shut down. He asks you to be strategic with what He entrusted to you. Speaking only with those who have already reached where you want to go changes everything. Such people don't compete, don't project fear, and don't diminish your vision. They listen, guide, and often correct without hurting. Likewise, those who pray for you instead of comparing themselves to you become channels of strengthening faith in God, not sources of emotional exhaustion. The rule is simple but powerful. If a person can't help you, they don't need to know. God's plans don't require an audience. They require alignment. And when this filter is applied, something interesting happens. Results start speaking louder than any early explanation. When silence stops being an effort and becomes a habit, the effects appear quickly. The chosen ones begin to feel more peace, less anxiety, and a mental clarity that once seemed impossible. The mind stops wasting energy explaining, defending, or justifying itself. And this alone strengthens faith in God in alignment with God's plans. With less external interference, decisions become firmer. The person listens more to their conscience and God's direction instead of the noise of outside opinions. Interestingly, results begin to appear unexpectedly. Opportunities arise, the right connections draw near, solutions come without announcement. Silence builds what noise destroys. And the less a person speaks, the more the results attract attention. There's no need to explain processes because the fruit becomes visible. At this stage, God's chosen ones understand that true impact doesn't come from speech, but from silent consistency. And inevitably, this learning leads to a question that can no longer be avoided. There comes a point when a person must face questions they avoided for a long time. Who truly has access to your plans today? Who hears what God revealed to you in silence? Many chosen ones realized too late that talking too much wasn't transparency. It was exposure. And exposure carries a high price along the journey. It's worth observing honestly. Do you talk more than you build, or build more than you talk? When faith in God is strong, it doesn't need constant announcement. It reveals itself through actions, daily discipline, and invisible consistency. God's plans don't demand public explanations. They demand silent obedience. Not everyone needs to understand what God revealed to you. Some wouldn't understand even if you explained it 10 times, and that's okay. God's chosen ones learn that protecting what is sacred is part of the process. And when this realization settles in, the desire to take a stand naturally arises, not with empty words, but with a clear decision before those who are listening now. If all of this made sense to you, it's because deep down you already know. Silence doesn't delay you, it protects you. God's chosen ones don't need to announce every step because they trust that God honors what is built in alignment with His plans. Growing in silence is not hiding. It's preparing to appear at the right time. Now I want to hear from you. And this matters. Write in the comments without fear and without a long explanation. I choose silence. This simple act is an internal decision, a commitment to yourself and to your faith in God. When you declare it, you take a stand. If this content spoke to you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This space is for chosen ones who grow in silence, mature away from noise, and appear prepared. And what comes next is for those who decided to protect what God entrusted to them. Now that everything is clear, the question is no longer whether this works. It's whether you will apply it. How many times have you weakened something that was being born just because you spoke too early? How many decisions would be different today if you had better protected God's plans? The chosen ones don't win through haste, they win through discernment. Silence is not passivity, it's a spiritual strategy aligned with God. From today on, observe more and explain less. Work more and announce less. Strengthen your faith in God and the invisible, because that's where real foundations are built. Those who learn to guard what they receive from God for the right time and the right people begin to live with more peace, less interference, and results that speak for themselves. So I leave you with these questions. Who truly deserves to hear your plans today? Are you speaking to impress or staying silent to build? If this content awakens something in you, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and stay with us. This space is for God's chosen ones who grow with wisdom, maturity, and purpose.